People are reading the epics, people are following the epics and the Puran and the Bhagavad Gita. Okay. The fact they have grown over many centuries and were performed, interpreted in ever new ways through the ages. Okay. They have grown over many centuries since when we had the epics, the Purans, the Bhagavad Gita, and still today we have them with us. And interpreted in ever new ways throughout the ages. Interpretations of these scriptures have been throughout the ages. Chacun est interprété dans ce façon. With commentaries, let's say Bhagavad Gita, you have Adi Shankaracharya, Dean Fairsevan commentaries. You have the guru of ISKCON. I'm not remembering the name, right? The guru, that sage, he has the commentaries, has given commentaries. Okay, so everyone has interpreted that, sorry, in their ways throughout ages, has kept them alive. Those interpretations, thanks to those interpretations, the scriptures we are talking here about, they are alive. Means we are still, yes, thank you, Srila Prabhupada. Thank you. So he gave his commentaries, of course, on the Bhagavad Gita. So these people, when they commented on that, we tend to understand better their commentaries. You know, instead of reading the Bhagavad Gita, my first Bhagavad Gita I read was the commentary of Adi Shankaracharya. It was difficult for me to read the Bhagavad Gita as it is. It was difficult at that time. So I read the commentaries of Adi Shankaracharya first and then move on to the Bhagavad Gita as it is, right? So these things, these works of these great people have kept these scriptures alive, and people still read them today, and full of meaning for every new generation of Hindus. Full of meaning, that is, they are still valid. No, they are still valid, and they are meant to be put into practice even today or future generations, right? So when you read a paragraph like this, you have to explain. Normalement, première question qu'il est demandé, c'est outline what the passage above says. Au moment explique là, you know, you have your interpretation, you write it. Okay. So that will be normally after an paragraph, a quote like this. This will definitely be your first question, to outline what does the passage, the quote, says about. Okay. Here about the importance of non-Vedic text. Remember Shruti and Smriti. Shruti and Smriti. Shruti, say the Veda, they are the Shruti, and the Smriti, say the epics, the Bhagavad Gita, the manusmriti, all these Mahabharata, they are the Smritis, right? Don't outline what the passage says about the importance of the non-Vedic text, that is the Puran, the epics, epics Mahabharata and Bhagavad Ramayana, and also the Bhagavad Gita. What are the importance of these Vedic texts? Okay. Premièrement, it is, as we said, it is still alive, these teachings, right? Especially if you'll take the Ramayana and the Bhagavad Gita, right? Even the Purans, no doubt, everywhere in abroad, we are in India or in our country, we do many Purans, many Katha, like the Bhagavad Puran, Shiv Puran. Even in European countries, you have the Bhagavad Katha, Bhagavad Puran, right? So people are preaching that. People are imparting. People, I mean to say, the saints, the priests, right? They are imparting those teachings to people. That is why it is still alive today, those teachings. And they are meant to be followed, to be practiced by one and all, right? By everyone. So if you see, as per the marking scheme, the drive la kuna marking scheme. I'll check it. I think there is, right? So one important thing also you can add here is the epics, especially. You know, people, they do dramas, theater, you know. They are interpreted in that way. They are performed in that way. Remember that they perform Ram Leela or about Krishna or about the something from the Bhagavad Gita, no? So this gives meaning to it, to those teachings, give value, give importance to those teachings and to those scriptures. Okay, so it is a question of 5 marks. It is a question of 5 marks. How much are you expected to write? It should be about a paragraph of 5 to 6 lines. Depend o handwriting comment était. I'm taking a normal handwriting, around 5 to 6 lines approximately. Even if it goes a bit more than that, maybe one whole page, okay? You might be having many things to write here, but essay écrire for these 5 marks. Don't go beyond that. If not, you will be wasting your time. To stand point, you'll be writing so many things, you're wasting your time. Don't do that. Okay? So you explain that, what you have understood here, that quote, that passage. Okay? I move to next question. Explain why the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita on achieving liberation might be important to Hindus. The Bhagavad Gita, as we have seen the 3 chapters, it talks about the ways to get liberation. Okay, so first of all, liberation is one major important aspect throughout in our spiritual life. Like we are born for that. We are born to get liberation. We need to be liberated. Remember the 4 Purusharthas: Dharma, Artha, Kam, and Moksha. Right? We have to reach that moksha sooner or later. So liberation is the priority. It is the priority of people, or of spiritual people, or of Hindus, whatever, however you want to write it. So why these teachings of liberation of Bhagavad Gita about liberation might be important? Okay, you can go through the marking scheme here. Mainly what you can discuss about is the scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, talks about dharma in terms of Arjuna doing his dharma, and if he doesn't do the dharma, what happens there? Okay. You can quote that thing what Krishna has said. It's not in the marking scheme, but you can quote that here. Krishna has said that while performing your duty, your dharma, if one dies, the person gets liberation. The person is liberated. Well, of course, provided that the work was being done with full faith, with full determination, and full devotion, right? That is one important thing you can quote as reference here about liberation. Okay. And of course, it talks about the nature of Atman, the nature of the body, etc. This is one stitch. 1 minute. Yeah, so about the dharma, as you were saying, that is the main thing you should write. Even the three gunas, the Atman, the body. You can quote at least 2 things here, right, from the Bhagavad Gita itself. Okay, you can do that. Next question will be, assess the claim that studying the Bhagavad Gita is the best way to understand contemporary Hinduism. That is, if we study the Bhagavad Gita, we understand better Hinduism. It was the contemporary Hinduism. For sure, if we read the Bhagavad Gita, we understand the Hinduism. Okay. The Hinduism, which is the Sanatan Dharma. Remember, after each age, during each age, we got certain scriptures. At the Vedic time, the Vedic period, we had the Vedas, no? People were following the Vedas. Then we had the Treta Yuga, the Dwapar Yuga, where we got the epics and other smritis as well. So Bhagavad Gita is one of it. We got the Bhagavad Gita when Krishna came in the Dwapar Yuga. And Dwapar Yuga is a situation, is a time where things had changed. Dharma was not being practiced properly as it is. So Bhagavad Gita definitely gives us light how Hinduism is, to understand it better, how to live as a Hindu, to be part of the Hinduism. So what does it tell us, okay, explain to us, that makes us understand Hinduism better? You can talk about the Gyan Yoga, the Karma Yoga, the Bhakti Yoga, even the Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga is the meditation path, right? Now, is it that only the Bhagavad Gita can make us understand Hinduism? You can write 1 paragraph on that if you want. If you want. If you want to focus your question only, your answer only on Bhagavad Gita, you are free to do that. If you want to add that part also, you are free. Est-ce que only Bhagavad Gita makes us understand better the contemporary Hinduism? For moi, personally, no. Pas seulement Bhagavad Gita. Many people today, we practice, we follow the teachings, ou bien we follow the Ramayana, which is a much simpler version of even the Bhagavad Gita. Pour moi, my interpretations are, I find the Ramayana a much simpler version of it. The same thing has been written in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Ramayana. Ram in Vinyan Janu, we need to practice our dharma. As a Kshatriya, he has shown how to perform his dharma. The same thing Krishna has explained to Arjun on the battlefield. There's no difference in the teaching. But yeah, there is a difference in terms of language. Bhagavad Gita is purely in Sanskrit. the Ramayana or the Ramcharitmanas, if you talk about the Ramcharitmanas, it's written in the Awadh language, in the language of the people, which is quite near to Hindi. It's not Hindi, it is quite near to Hindi, which makes the things a bit easy to understand, to read, to understand. And the Ramayana is like the life of a person, the life of an ideal person. And we just have to understand those ideal things which Ram has been doing, and to put that into practice. That has been said in the Bhagavad Gita also, but in very much philosophical way, right? So it's up to you if you want to take the work in that direction. If you want to focus only on the Bhagavad Gita, you do that. Or if you want to say at one paragraph, in one paragraph only, you write about people, Hindus might, read, practice, or follow other scriptures, especially in my case, I would write especially the Ramayana. Okay. You might give an example about the idealism of Ram. Don't relate, don't narrate previous stories here. Don't do that. Okay. So these are a few things you can write. When you will read the marking scheme, it's not important that whatever is there in the marking scheme, you write that. That is not important. Here, what will be marked will be your analysis and your evaluation of things, how you analyze things. Okay. You might take 2, 3 ideas and it's only for 4 ideas, for example. That will be okay, provided you pick up, analyze the idea, write about it. Okay. That is more important. It's not about how many ideas you need to write. At least 3 will be okay, 3 or 4. Okay. I leave this up to you. No, you can also say that people follow the Vedas. If you see the Arya Samajists, for example, they follow the Vedas, and this is one way to understand Hinduism. Okay, you can add that part also. Okay, so I move to next question. Question number 2, toujours no papier 2, specimen paper. Question number 2. Summarize the difference between Smriti and Shruti. Okay, this is 5 marks. Smriti and Shruti, you can go through your marking scheme. Ou bien, I will send you, when je finis envoyer ça, you can go through it also, how the Shruti, the Smriti is. Remember, Shruti say which has been heard, that is the Vedas. The sages got the Vedas from the divine directly, and the Smritis say those which has been remembered or considered as tradition. They are the like manusmriti, like Mahabharata, the epics, the Bhagavad Gita, right? Est-ce que both of them have authority? Yes, they do have. Hinduism is vast. For some sect, Shruti, the Veda, enough authority. For others, Smriti. No? The Arya Samajist, fully the Ved is authoritative. We follow the Ved. For, let's say, someone in ISKCON, the Vaishnav, maybe Mahabharata, Ramayana, or the Bhagavad Gita, fully the Smriti is authoritative. Okay. So you discuss in different ways. We say on Shruti and Smriti here. The meaning, the source of authority, the examples here, right? Now, the Smriti, the good thing in it, the Smriti is more flexible and subject to interpretation compared to the Vedas. And they also allow adaptations to social circumstances, to modern time. Okay, like the manusmriti, there are many things there where, for example, allowing to eat meat, let's say. Okay. So I'm not saying we should be eating, c'est pas le point, but the thing is how we adapt to situations, right? Next question. Explain how Hindus might use manusmriti in their life. This type of question you should prepare for all the scriptures that you study. For Ramayana, for Bhagavad Gita, for Mahabharata, for Manusmriti, for Upanishad also. We have the Isha and the Gatha Upanishad. Such a question can come on any of these scriptures. Kumali might be useful to us. Okay, so remember that, prepare this type of question for all these scriptures that you have studied, right? So explain how Hindus might use the Manusmriti in our life. Should it be practiced or not? Do we practice it or not? Again, I'll come, sorry. Again, I'll come to the same point. It depends on belief of people. Not everyone believes in the Manusmriti. Not everyone follow or observe the Manusmriti. Those who are Vedic, the Arya Samajists, for example, Manusmriti has practically no importance for them because the main scripture for them which they follow is the Ved. I'm not saying they might not have read other scriptures. They do read other scriptures. I personally know many Arya Samajists like that, they clear Ramayana, they clear Mahabharata, they take examples from there. But the main scripture which they follow as it is the Ved. Is the Ved. Right. And you have Swami Dayanand, a bit out of context, but let me tell you. Swami Dayanand has prescribed 16 sanskar. But in the Ved, we have more than, if I'm not wrong, more than 54 sanskar to perform. Right. So Swami Dayanand, he didn't fear, he knew, modern people, we don't have time for sanskar. So he minimized them. And he said that, okay, at least this minimum thing we can do, the 16 sanskar. Okay. Ça, c'était juste en bas ça. So you can go through again the marking schemes about the manusmriti, how it talked about it. So how might Hindus use the manusmriti? And so it is a moral and ethical guideline for us, especially if you can talk about dharma. We follow dharma as it has been written there. It is something social and it has the social and legal principles for us to follow, like the Varna system, even the ashram system. We have seen the Grihast ashram. Sekinunin Gitilanin goes Sarmalo Grihast ashram, but he talked about all of the ashram in the, as per your syllabus in the chapters, Lipan goes the other ashrams, but definitely he elaborated on all the ashramas, right? It has the cultural tradition, the rituals to perform. It has knowledge, right? The Manusmriti underscores the importance of education. In India, Thailand, we need to have a guru. Why do we need a guru? To have knowledge. It is a legal and judicial system. This is judicial system, the debatable, of course, because we follow the law, the constitution of a particular country, right? But when you get the Hindu society, you know, Lydiana and specific laws, what has been written like in the Manusmriti. And some people, they follow the Manusmriti, they say, we follow the Manusmriti. But we can't put that, in the legal system. Of course, we have a constitution. We follow the laws of the country. Cultural heritage and identity, right? It is about the religious heritage, which Manu has told us about. Now, it is important to know that Manusmriti is a complex text. And just again, look, I don't hear the whole Manusmriti, you do that. I have tried to, but it's too difficult, right? Manusmriti is a complex text and interpretations can vary. When I was explaining, I told you many my interpretations of things. People can interpret it in another way, right? For example, the caste system, for example, of after the death of someone, what we just talked about, So the modern Hindu society is diverse, and not all Hindus adhere to Manusmriti as legal and ethical, right? I would personally, I do not follow the Manusmriti. Maybe there might be things which I might be following, but I won't quote it from the Manusmriti. Parce que my personal view, for me, it is that it's trop debatable. Il y a beaucoup controversies in that, the various teachings of Manusmriti. Right? So it's better to follow something which is from the divine, which is authoritative, right? You may have your own version. Maybe you can say you need to follow the Manusmriti. That is okay. You justify, right? But we can follow other things also, no? The Hindus might use Manusmriti, yes, they use for this particular reason, but they can use other scriptures as well. Next question. Hinduism cannot be fully understood without the knowledge of Manusmriti. I don't agree with this, right? Yeah, Manusmriti gives light about many things, about the Grihastha ashram, about this and that. But franchement, all these things have already been written in the Ved, no? In maybe Mahabharata, in the Ramayana, in the Bhagavad Gita. So why Manusmriti quand il y a beaucoup controversies? Okay, this is one way to answer this question. Another way to answer this question is yes, we can't understand Hinduism completely without Manusmriti. Manusmriti helps us to understand the Hinduism. But yes, we cannot deny that the Ramayana, the epics, the Bhagavad Gita also help us in that, right? So here you'll find arguments supporting the claim here about the legal, ethical, cultural, social structure and responsibilities, community law, the Varna system, even the ashram system. Arguments challenging the claim, that being diverse, Hinduism is so diverse, many philosophical schools, sects, beliefs, traditions. So most of the Hindus do not adhere to the Manusmriti, right? If you will notice, even as per the surveys, many Hindus are becoming Vaishnav. It is there on the net, the survey. Many Hindus and even non-Hindus are becoming Vaishnavas. So they are following the Bhagavad Puran or the Bhagavad Gita, right? Evolution of thought. Hinduism has evolved over years and years, and even its philosophy, while the manusmriti reflects a particular period in history. Okay, his time when he wrote that around 12, 1200, 1300 years, right? So it might not fully capture the diversity and the contemporary Hinduism, right? Controversial elements. The Manusmriti contains certain verses which promote social inequality. We have seen, for example, the verses on the Varnas, even gender discrimination. At a point in India, a woman should not, after the death of her husband, she should not take the name of another man also, right? Where she need to have the freedom of living her life. So these are the different ideas you can use if you want to go in that direction. Now, remember, you can write the answer in 2 ways. No, 3 ways you can do that. Premièrement, you agree that Hinduism cannot be fully understood without the knowledge of Manusmriti. Means you agree with that. You can write your whole answer on agreeing with that. Or you write your whole answer on disagreeing with that. Or the third way, you write the both things. Okay? You choose your way how to write. Mama would prefer the third one because you'll have more ideas, more things to write, better ways to analyze things, right? Well, it's up to you again to choose what you want to do. So these are the 2 questions, specimen paper 2, number 1 and 2. You do these questions.